Wow, salute. So, Jerron Boots Ennis, man, to me is still very much a raw product, and he's going to be doing like a co-main event to Jamel Charlo and Brian Castaño rematch for Undisputed at 154. I just seen the video on Fight Hype. Side note, with interview with Jamel and Jamal Charlo's father, and shit, man, the apple didn't fall far from the tree, man. Spitting image. You can see where they get their shit from. Whole new respect for Jamel Charlo and Jamal Charlo and the relationship they got with their father, man. Talked about how he put him out there, from the womb with the gloves on, fighting neighborhood kids. I digress, but Jerron Bucenis versus Custio Clayton. Didn't know too much about Custio Clayton. So, I watched a couple of fights, watched some highlights, and then I watched the interview he did before with the Boxing Voice. He's from Nova Scotia, I believe. And I look at it like this. They say you iron sharpens iron. Because I've been kind of waiting to see him up against, him being Boots, up against tougher competition. Delorme, Lipinets, and Van Heerden was a clash of heads. Fight got stopped early. So I'm waiting for him to, have that step up in competition to fight somebody that attests his mettle. And like they say, iron sharpens iron. I don't look at this as like the clashing of two swords. I look at this as if right now Jerron Boots Ennis is the sword, but he's still being crafted. Like if you had an ironsmith, if he was, creating a katana blade or a perfect sword, this guy, Custio Clayton, would be like the hammer. That blunt force type of object that's just basically, sharpening up the tool while it's hot, shaping it. So it's not it's not going to be shiny. He's not like a shining cloth for jewelry. He's not like cotton to shine up this sword. He's just another adversary that's going to pound out some wrinkles and help develop Boots into a better fighter. He's going to push Boots because one thing I can't say about this guy, he's a ton of muscle. He kind of got that Andre Berto muscle, that Timothy Bradley type muscle, like a little bit overly muscle bound to where he really doesn't have a lot of knockout power. It's like more of a, consistent medium range punch power. Like I said, he's like a blunt, like a if you hit somebody with a medicine ball in the abs, it's just to condition the abs to get stronger and stronger. I can see this guy just basically helping Jerron Boots Ennis become stronger. He's going to push him because Clayton is athletic. He got some speed. He got some pop. He got some decent punching power, but nothing super explosive, nothing super snappy, nothing that's just devastational. You know what I'm saying? It's consistently throughout a 12-round fight. He consistently has a decent amount of power, a decent amount of push, but not a lot of arsenal. He has some tools. He has some weaponry, but not a heavy artillery. Nothing from what I see that's going to be too much for Boots. You know what I'm saying? I think Boots is going to be able to figure this guy out, and there might be some moment in times where Boots can do some flashy and some razzle and some dazzle. But for the most part, he's going to have to stay on top of his game. He's going to have to work behind his jab. He's going to have to use his range. He's going to have to mix it up sometimes, and he's going to have to be able to pivot and get in and get out. Keep his back off the ropes. This guy can pin and frame even to the ropes, and he can land some decent body shots. Not bombs, but he got some little pineapples, some hand grenades. He can throw some shots to the body that can do some damage if you just let him pound on you. But Boots is too crafty. He's too slick. I think he has too much of an advantage as far as athletically and his feet, his foot movement. I think he's going to be able to, swerve him and pivot and spin out the way and pop that jab out, keep him at a decent range. But I do see some moments and points in time if Boots has any lapse, or if he has any lulls, or if he has any times where he takes his mind out of the fight, I can see this guy kind of snapping him back into it with a couple of little combination flurries that'll make Jaron Boots Ennis, regain his focus and stick to the task at hand. So, the problem is with Boots is like, he's kind of just born at a time where he's a little bit ahead of his time. The older guys aren't really trying to fight him. Like, Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence is caught up in this situation. Honestly, I would honestly love to see Keith One-Time Thurman fight Boots, because in order for Keith One-Time Thurman, he only has one loss, but he lost to a small, old Manny Pacquiao. It would be nice to see him redeem himself by fighting a young, prime, strong Boots. You know what I'm saying? Because, you lose by Manny Pacquiao and you come back and you fight a smaller Mario Barrios, who had already just got knocked out by a smaller Gervonta Tank Davis. To me, Keith Thurman is kind of in the way. I heard him throw his name in the mentionings with Terrence Bud Crawford to kind of intercept that fight, and even talking about Errol Spence. Keith Thurman, to me, he needs to fight Boots. You know what I'm saying? Pass that torch along. Help give him a boost up. You know what I'm saying? Because he really don't have any other adversaries or rivals. The only name that was really being mentioned side by side with Jaron Boots Ennis was Virgil Ortiz. And then Virgil Ortiz, he was getting ready for a fight, but he suffered an injury, something called like rhabdomyolysis, where your skeletal muscle breaks down and it releases into your circulation, like, myoglobin and creatine, and what I'm saying, it can be deadly, and it comes as a result of putting too much overstrain on your muscle, which leads me to believe that he had an issue with making weight. He tried to overtrain, and his body got taxed for it. So that kind of, to me, took him out of the runnings for. I like Virgil Ortiz's body of work that he was putting together. He fought Agitas Kavalauskas, and he fought Maurice Hooker. So I said, with his competition, he should be right there with Boots. You know what I'm saying? Because Boots, to me, genetically is more gifted, but Virgil Ortiz is more blue collar, grab your lunch pail and go to work type of a fighter. And I thought those two would elevate each other. But Virgil Ortiz is kind of out of the picture. Terrence Bud Crawford's not going to fight him. Errol Spence is not going to fight him. Keith Thurman should man up and fight Jaron Boots Ennis. But in the meantime, in between time, we got Custio Clayton. Like I said, he's a decent fighter, but I don't look at him as a dangerous. He's a stepping stone, but you better watch your step, because if you get caught lacking, I can see this dude, maybe pulling some slick, you're stealing rounds. You never know in boxing, one punch can change the whole trajectory. One punch can change the whole trajectory of the outcome of your whole career. So if you get caught lacking, Custio Clayton could derail Boots Ennis from his destiny of greatness. But I don't see that being the case. I think this is going to be a showcase fight for him, and he could steal the show. He could steal the show. You know what I'm saying? He could steal the show from whoever wins between Jermell Charlo and Brian Ray Sugar Castaño. That's my thoughts on it. This is Boxing Nocturnal Thoughts, man. Y'all holler back in the comments below and let me know what y'all think about Keith Thurman fighting Jaron Boots Ennis, Jaron Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz, or Jaron Boots Ennis versus Custio Clayton. Do you really think this is going to be a mismatch, a showcase, or do you think it's a dangerous fight that he might get upset, take his first loss? Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is Boxing Nocturnal Thoughts, man. Salute. Bow.